morning, and today I have with me Tracy McCoy. She lives here in North Texas as well. She's a fellow Crunchy mom, and I really want to introduce you to her because she's awesome. She also has a very interesting health journey and lots of information to share about how to incorporate healthier foods into the life of your family, and some interesting ideas for how you might be able to do that more affordably and conveniently. So first, I met Tracy. We haven't actually met in person. Ironically, this is our first time really chatting face to face, but Tracy's been very helpful to me over the phone, and I originally met her because I was trying to obtain some raw goat milk for making formula for my son using Weston Price formula recipe, and she's a local co-op coordinator who can help me obtain that. So without any further explanation, Tracy, tell us a little about yourself, about your family, your background, what you're up to these days.
Sure, yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to get to talk with you guys and share a little bit more about what I'm doing at Hillbilly Nutrition and what the co-op's doing up here in North Dallas. Basically, my journey started kind of like yours. I was looking for raw goat milk for my daughter. We adopted her at birth, and breastfeeding wasn't an option for us, and so I always knew I was going to make her formula, but I knew pretty soon after she was born that cow milk was not going to work for her. She had a really bad reaction to formula. And so I started looking for goat's milk and found another co-op here near where I live. And she was sourcing, raw goat's milk and raw cow milk. And so I kind of, befriended her and started buying some milk from her, and realized that she needed some help with running the co-op, and so I offered to kind of help administrate some of the work and help her out a little bit, basically. And before I knew it, she was moving, and she didn't really have the time to do the milk co-op anymore, and asked me if I wanted to take it over. And I said yes. If anyone wanted to come, pick up at my house, I would do it. And so from there, it just kind of grew, and it's now become a way for us to source really great food from this local community, being, North Texas, basically. But I wouldn't shy away from sourcing from South Texas, if you will. But, I try to keep things really local and allow for this community to get their hands on really good food that they wouldn't be able to otherwise.
And before we go too much further, what is a co-op exactly?
So there's a couple ways a co-op can be structured. Sometimes a co-op is, it's a cooperative is what that's, is short for. And generally what that means is there's a group of people that are running the ins and outs and all the workings of the co-op. And so that could be, some people run the orders, some people might run for the pickups and, distribution. Others might deal with the finances or the sorting. That's in a really big co-op environment. There are some co-ops that have lots of volunteers, and their motivation is not anything other than to keep that operation going and be a part of it. And we're not that big. So in our environment, I call it a co-op. I think in this sense, a lot of people treat that as the availability of food. It's not at the grocery store. It's not at the local farmer's market. It's one or a few people sourcing some food and kind of hosting the gathering, the sorting, the bagging, the distribution to the members, and allowing them to come pick it up at their house. So that's kind of a little bit of what I do. I'm on the smaller scale. We've got over 300 members. I would say about 60 or so order on a regular basis or on a monthly basis. But even though that seems like a very small percentage, I'm always surprised at how much we're processing. It's a good amount of of dollars that are coming through here, just, for families that are really trying to feed their families really good food. And that goes beyond just milk. That's just one of our offerings now. We've really grown that to offer a lot more pastured chicken and beef and pork, and bacon is a big deal. Everybody wants really good bacon. Mm-hmm. Eggs. We used to have a kombucha guy. Now I kind of make kombucha for the co-op people who want it. So there's just a slew of kind of really good food, but also holistic, more minded foods as well. And just natural, anything that has to do with the natural home, the natural body, feeding your family really well. And what I like to call it is passionately raised food and good. So it's not just about finding grass-fed beef. It's about finding a farmer that's really passionate about what he's doing and providing a great service to our community.
That is awesome. I love that. Passionate food.
Yeah.
And you also do wild-caught salmon.
I do, yes. I have a relationship with our fishermen in Alaska, and they are actually out kind of finalizing their salmon run as we speak up there. And so by the end of this month, I think they'll have a slew of salmon for the next year, and we'll be able to order from them. And it's amazing because I'll place an order, and the next day it's here on my doorstep, and then people are picking it up. So it's super cool.
That is so great.
Yeah.
So before we move on to a few questions about the co-op itself and what all that involves, I'm wondering, in Texas, what are the laws with the raw milk?
So raw milk is actually only able to be sold from the farm. So it is legal to buy raw milk here in Texas, but we have to go to the farm to get it. And so it is, with that, I am cooperatively involved with this group of folks that want to have access to it, and we go to the farm on their behalf.
Great. So they pay for it at the farm over the internet?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then they can pick it up conveniently at your home.